So, Dr. Valereah, we are super excited to be having you at COMEX AI due to all the experience you bring, the expertise. There's so much knowledge, and you're going to enrich the COMEX AI conference. So, can you please go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure, definitely. Likewise, I'm also so excited to be part of the COMEX conference. I'm sure it will be a success. So my name is Valereah Serevic. I work for PwC Innovation Lab. I also have a PhD on human decision making and decision intelligence. At PwC Lab, I drive digital transformation programs of work where we utilize technology from Industry 4.0, such as AI, machine learning, OCR, intelligent automation, and data analytics. I have lived and worked across the globe, Southeast Asia, Europe, New Zealand, and now I'm in the US.
That's a great background. I mean, you have a varied background in AI, in data as well, and having had experience across different countries. That makes for a very rich experience, and it's great to have you. Can you explain to us, Doctor, what are the current trends in AI at the moment?
I think due to the pandemic that happened for the last 18 years, the entire business ecosystem transformed, and the first basic examples will be retail. We had a massive uptake on online shopping and services. So now customization, convenience, and speed to customers are becoming the main competitive advantages. As for other industries, for example, we can take an example of healthcare, right? The telemedicine uptake. Now everyone is aware of the telemedicine and we are using it, and it's actually normal for us to call our doctors through the Zoom call. Education has also had a massive change. Now we are more linear towards online education, online schooling, and we start perceiving it as a quality. So now we don't have a bias against online education because we think it's normal. It's the new way of working. As from technical perspective, it's also had a massive change in terms of how the IT infrastructure is kind of laid out. Specifically, AI helped a massive adoption of the cloud because it helps them to structure their data more efficiently and effectively, analyze it as well for better decision making. Another thing is AI is getting smarter. There are more and more solutions, IT solutions, that are becoming self-tested, self-trained, self-evaluated, the data becoming self-labeled. So yes, that's a big difference. It's becoming easier and easier to use AI. Yeah. And the basic thing I think we need to also for the businesses specifically is there is more uptake on IPA. There is more need to start automating business processes because the amount of data grown again exponentially, and the businesses no longer can use their own employees to do this mundane task. So IPA is becoming rather essential than advisory, and that the first step for digital transformation, and it's the first step for start using and utilizing AI and machine learning.
Yes, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
No, I also wanted to kind of add another important things that happens. Also, AI brought so much good things in the world, but at the same time, it creates so much concerns as well. Like, for example, the recent issues with using personal identity information in machine learning models. Also having embedded biases in the IT solutions, specifically around the age, gender, some sort of education, zip code, and so on. So people are becoming more aware, and that's why the organizations and the government sectors are driving massive effort to try to find some sort of regulatory or legal approaches to, safeguard our users and businesses as well.
Correct. I think safeguarding is very important, and that will bring us on to the next question. But before I go on to the next question, you mentioned some very interesting things, and I think AI can really help to bring the most out of people, can't it? Because like you said, it removes the mundane tasks to allow humans to focus on what we can do better and machines to focus on what they can do better. It's kind of working it's AI technology working with humans. One thing you mentioned about retail, of course, online retail has, gone crazy. I mean, during the pandemic,
Wild, yeah.
it's gone wild, because it was really the only option to be able to carry out retail during this time. I think in Oman more so, because in Oman we were still a little bit behind when it came to online shopping, online retail. It never really properly took off. So now everyone is of course into it, and it's a very big game changer. And AI is going to have a lot of
Yeah. I think another thing what's happened is for small businesses, specifically for family businesses, right? They had to move from the traditional approach, having a shop on the corner, right, like daily, to some sort of an online shopping experience. But it also helped AI to become a bit cheaper, right? So that there are more and more off-the-shelf AI solutions that can be easily implemented and used by regular users.
I think increased efficiency and reduced cost are some great, one of the many great benefits of AI. So, Doctor, talking about the importance of AI, of course, there are threats, like you've mentioned. So there are some negative aspects which can be there. And this takes me to the next question. What is the importance of ethical AI?
Um, that's that's an interesting question, and I'm glad you asked that. And I've got another counter question: how important is the quality, right? That's a similar thing. Quality is the most important thing in any services, in any solutions, and whatever we do. So ethical AI is actually part of the quality, right? So we also have to bear in mind that most of the organization now is taking an AI effort. They're driving innovation, government using AI to solve humanity issues, right? Impact the society. So it is becoming in the core upfront of the importance for everyone. So that's why it is essential to show the fairness of machine learning algorithm to our users, to educate our users how AI should be used, right? So they know how the decisions are being made, so they are not scared to actually use it, and also to educate our people on this. So that's why the effort is becoming extremely, it's becoming so much noise about it at the same time, and also because there are so many different consequences that AI might impact. If someone is scared about AI being affecting of our mind, right, our brain, then someone is scared that AI is completely biased, right, and is doing their own decisions. It's cut one of the part of the society, but give the favor to another one. So that's why governments actually across the globe is taking a really good and interesting steps to kind of to propose the right mechanism and tools in place for organizations to make their life easier, and for users to also understand the impact of AI.
So important for people to understand all these kind of implications around this new tech, which is going to play a big part in all parts of society. And sorry, I was just smiling a little bit there, because last night I was watching an old movie, The Matrix, which made me think a little bit about what you were talking about.
And I think now, it's really interesting to watch old movies, because most of the old movies predicted of where we are now in a couple of years. And we used to look at it as a fantasy, but now it's actually reality. So how do we work with this fantastic world?
It's no longer theory anymore. It's currently taking place, and
it's a fact.
Will touch everyone's lives very, very much. So, Doctor, we've talked about the importance of AI and ethical AI. Can you tell us more details about the topics and themes which you will be covering at your session?
So I think in this session, the main agenda that I want to drive is, first of all, to introduce what is AI ethics and provide some sort of a bit of standalone definition, even if it's hard and there is no definition on AI ethics. Then I want to give a bit of an overview what's happening in the world with responsible AI and ethical AI aspects, like what are the different governments in different countries, they do in order to provide the regulations, the compliance, the policies, what are the business organizations do as well. And then I want to finalize the session with some sort of like at least key takeaways or action items, what IT specialists, data scientists, and just regular users should know about AI, and how they should also try to bring it into their operation with ethical AI principles.
I think these are very important topics for everyone to be updated about. Can you maybe tell us about who you think should attend your session? Types of people and industries?
For me, education is really important. So I think even if people sometimes don't know what is AI and they think they don't use it, everyone now is using it. I think it doesn't matter at what stage you are. As more as you get informed, as more as you start thinking about it. So it's definitely good for business owners. It's definitely good for technology specialists, IT vendors, infrastructure specialists as well, and just regular, probably government sectors people as well, in terms of whether someone in education, someone in healthcare, wellness, because it will benefit everyone. It will benefit in the aspect of putting the right foundation in place in order to succeed in the future.
Correct. And Doctor, can you tell us why you're excited to be part of COMEX?
Well, COMEX, I mean, I'm excited because Middle East is a growing market, and it's been upfront in so many different sectors in the world, right? And Oman is growing exponentially, and it's really good to know that Oman is taking an effort to understand and also uptake something what's happening in the global arena on the aspects of the responsible AI and ethical AI, and also try to further later on to start implementing those principles within the different organizations, businesses, and the users itself. So that's why I think it's a first step for try to educate the people around you and then actually drive to succeed.
Well, Dr. Valereah, we look forward to seeing you at COMEX AI.
Likewise, I'm also looking forward to speak at AI and collaborate with the people, with the participants, and then standing around and have a question and answer session.
We'll see you there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you there.
See you.